So I'm at the Emergency Preparedness Fair. I'm Rachel Ann Goodman, and I'm speaking with...
Evgenia Murfeld, Scouting America, Silicon Valley, Monterey Bay Council. We serve 4 counties, Santa Cruz, Monterey, San Benito, and Santa Clara. And we have programs for youth of all ages, kindergarten through 21 years old. Obviously, Scouting America has evolved from Boy Scouts of America, and as you may know, we have programs for all ages, for all kids of all ages, and we teach them about emergency preparedness at all levels, starting from kindergarten when they have to come home and talk to their parents about having an emergency plan. Where is our first aid kit? What do we do? How do we escape the house in case of a fire or flood or any other emergency? And then, of course, for Scouts to earn the Eagle rank, they have to earn Emergency Preparedness Merit Badge. And this is where they learn how to be prepared. That's our Scout motto.
Fantastic. How would they reach you if they wanted to get involved?
bascout.org, or you can also check our website, www.svmbc.org.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm here at the Emergency Preparedness Fair in Santa Cruz, and I'm talking with...
Stefan Edgar with UC Santa Cruz Office of Emergency Management. My formal title is Strategic Resilience and Preparedness Manager, but that's a lot of syllables.
What are the most common disasters to strike the university campus?
Some of the biggest things that we're concerned about include wildfires, wildland fires. We are also looking at artificial threats as well. So we are, of course, concerned about active shooter events. However, in terms of, great disasters, because of our position within the wildland urban interface, or the WUI, that would definitely be wildfires as kind of top of our radar. However, UCSC, we also have a lot of properties that people don't know about, including our coastal sciences campus. We lease some facilities at the Santa Cruz Harbor, and as a result, we do have a lot of concerns as it relates to tsunami awareness and tsunami preparedness. So,
what are 3 things you want students and the general public to know about being prepared?
Oh, perfect. I have the 3 things right here. So first and foremost, making sure that you are signed up for alerts. If you are a UC Santa Cruz affiliate, that would be signing up for the Cruise Alert, and that is going to be available at our website, which is cruisealert.ucsc.edu. If you're not a UCSC affiliate, but you're a resident of Santa Cruz County, that's going to be Cruise Aware, and you can find that through the county's OR3 website. And then if you're a commuter, say you are coming over 17 or you're coming from Watsonville or Monterey, any county in the state of California has their own emergency alert system. You can go to calalerts.org and you can sign up for your county's emergency alert system pretty directly that way. Another element is going to be developing your tsunami preparedness plan. It can also be just a general emergency preparedness plan. And we do have a lot of those resources available on our website in terms of how you can go about doing all of the planning and then rehearsing that plan. And then finally, if you do feel an earthquake, so we're talking about an actual tsunami scenario, you don't want to wait for an emergency alert. If you feel that earthquake, you want to get inland and to high ground as soon as possible. That's going to be one of the most important items because depending on the location of the earthquake, depending on the speed of the tsunami, the alert may take some time to generate and may take some time to propagate out to the community. So we do want to make sure that everybody is notified as soon as possible and that they get to a safe location as soon as possible.
A lot of us have seen disaster movies where the tsunami is 100 feet tall and there's no way you could escape. What's high enough as far as safety goes? If you feel an earthquake and there could be a tsunami, what's the appropriate place to get to, and probably not in a car, right?
Yeah, so for Santa Cruz County specifically, one of the big things that we have available is an inundation map. And with that inundation map, we can actually see that a good swath of downtown Santa Cruz is at a higher degree of risk when it comes to tsunami inundation, and that also includes circumstances such as coastal flooding. One of the big things that I like to say in emergency preparedness trainings that I give to our community members is get above Mission Street, get to or above Mission Street, and you're probably going to be fine. We're not too worried about tsunamis at the main residential campus, but we do have a lot of folks who live downtown at the University Town Center. They might be renting in the local community. So we do just try to be mindful that using Mission Street as a good barometer is pretty decent in those circumstances.
Well, thanks for all the good info. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you so much.
I'm here at the American Red Cross booth. Who am I speaking to?
Patsy Gasca, Disaster Manager for Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito.
Fantastic. So we cover the 2 of those 3 counties with K-SQUID. And what would be the most important thing the public should know about being prepared for a disaster? Maybe like the top three.
Yeah, the top three is to really have a plan for yourself as an individual, your family, to even include schools. You know, if the kids are in school, you have kids in the school system, to know what that plan is for the school. That's really important. And then you communicate it to your whole immediate family and extended family so everyone knows, including nannies, babysitters. A lot of people work. It's our reality, right? So somebody's got to pick up the child, and you can't just release it to anyone. That to have a kit that's specialized for your family is so important. And to listen to the emergency broadcast system about where you need to go. Does your area need to evacuate? We've seen in the past, even with tsunami in 2011, people hiked it all the way up to Gilroy, plucking kids out of school, and there was no need for it. It was only certain areas, and they weren't anywhere near the areas that needed to evacuate. So that's important to hear, that to have a plan, to build a kit, and to be informed of what's going on. But by informed, you listen to your emergency broadcast.
Don't listen to rumors, because that's what happened, I guess. It was a radio station that accidentally said meters and not feet.
In Southern California, yes.
Well, it was here, too.
Oh, okay. We heard it more.
There were crowds up on 17.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah. And some people think, oh, well, at least say, they heated and it went upstairs, up higher. But that wasn't even the point. There was emergency personnel trying to get through to people that really had an emergency, like heart attacks and whatnot, and, they couldn't. And I know we were sent in 2011 to go open up the fairgrounds, and my volunteers couldn't even get there, so they had to abandon their cars on the road, hike it into the fairgrounds. They had backpacks with their materials to get going, and then got it going. But, people just need to be really cautious about knowing what your zone is, where you need, if you have to evacuate, and they'll be very clear if you do or not. And then to just have a plan. What are you going to do? If you're a homeowner and you have insurance, great, you can call your insurance. If it's going to be longer than 24 hours, so that they can help you get into a hotel if you'd like. And then if not, listen for the shelters that will be stood up.
So there seems to be an assumption that maybe is incorrect, that somehow all the emergency responders are going to contact you, and that somehow you're going to know exactly what to do when they say to do it. Is there a message you'd like to send to be like self-sufficient in an emergency? Because sometimes people feel like all these responders are going to save them, and sometimes there's not enough of them. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the reality is that we just do not have enough first responders, right? Emergency responders, and, they're going to be tapped out, especially if it's a major earthquake like we saw in '89. They need every firefighter, every law enforcement. There's not even enough. There wasn't enough then. There still isn't enough now. And because that happens doesn't mean the smaller disasters, right, or everyday home fires don't happen. So they've got to triage. And some people may not get helped, unfortunately. So we need to be able to help neighbor with neighbor. We have a program going on now is recruiting volunteers for exactly that. Recruiting and training them so that we're each able to help our neighbors, right? We can triage our own neighborhood. We just do a survey of what we have in our neighbors. Most of us don't even know our neighbors. Isn't that sad? Right? We get to meet them during a disaster. Let's share a barbecue. Let's do this kind of stuff. But, we should know that beforehand. It's not exchanging business cards during disaster doesn't work. You got to do all that networking before and find out what you have. The inventory. Do we have nurses on this block? Do we have a doctor retired? What do we have, right? And that's how you start building your network to be able to sustain and support your community until more help comes. Help will come, but it may be several weeks, as we saw with PG&E, right? People shutting off their gas when it wasn't needed. Back then everybody thought, earthquake, shut off everything. No, unless you smell the gas, don't shut it off. So, it's just constant learning. There's a lot on the internet. There's a lot through the American Red Cross site, redcross.org, in a variety of languages. You can also reach out to us, and we're more than happy to come out to a business, a homeowners association, small little community, even 5 people, to learn about how to be best prepared.
Or a radio station.
Or a radio station, yes. Actually, we prefer radio stations because the word gets out so far, furthest. And especially with the Spanish station, most of our communities, especially in the southern part, rely on the radio station because that's how they get their information. And we want to make sure that all our bases are covered.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
I'm Rachel Ann Goodman, and I'm here at the Emergency Preparedness Fair in Santa Cruz, and we're talking with Rudy of the Santa Cruz County Animal Shelter about what to do when there's an emergency with your pet.
Hi. What I highly recommend you to have ready for your pet is first that the pet is clearly identify. One of the best things that you can do for that is microchip. Be sure that the microchip information is ready and sure and up to date with your microchip company. The other thing that you can have ready is a transportation or safe place for your pet to stay outside of your home in a kind of emergency. And no last but not least, have a kit where all your information of your pet, medication, things like that are ready to go in case your pet cannot return home right away.
Do you want to do that again in Spanish?
Okay.
All right, here we go, take two.
Sí, bueno, pues habla Rodolfo del Santa Cruz County Animal Shelter. Lo que les recomiendo que tengan para sus animales es que estén plenamente identificados. Eso puede ser con un collar y su nombre en el collar o definitivamente microchip. Algo que les recomiendo para el microchip es que su información, la información de usted, el dueño, esté al corriente y que esté con toda la información necesaria en todos los teléfonos con los que pueda comunicarse. Otra cosa importante es tener un lugar seguro para el animal, para su transporte o su estancia en otro lugar fuera de la casa, y eso puede ser una jaula o una correas, todo ese tipo de cosas para que el animal esté seguro fuera de la casa. También puede tener preparado un kit o una bolsa con toda la información del animal, su comida, en caso de que tenga medicamentos o alguna necesidad especial, todo esté listo para que tengamos una buena situación con esto.
One more question. You could do it in bilingually too, one in each, is if you can't stay somewhere with your pet, where do you take it?
Probably the best thing to do right now will be with a friend. Unfortunately, the shelter, sometimes there is not a space, at least in our shelter. Lo que podría hacer es tener a su animal, llevárselo con algún amigo, tratar de buscar una persona que le ayude. A veces el shelter no tiene la capacidad de poder tener al animal.
Sometimes the fairgrounds opens for large animals, also small?
Yes, the fairground definitely is open for big animals, horses, sheep. Sometimes they can take small animals, but these installations are not very ready, especially for cats, because if a cat could escape, it's gone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. I appreciate your help.